is getting ready to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns this Friday in their first preseason game. Yeah, turn up 12. W12 in the chat for Shedeur Sanders right now. Well, the Cleveland Browns have 5 quarterbacks on their roster with Joe Flacco. He's available, but they won't let him play.
The Cleveland Browns just pulled the move nobody had on their bingo card. Shedeur Sanders is officially QB1. Not just in the room, not just in the mix, he's running the whole huddle now. And you know who's feeling the heat? The Carolina Panthers, their fanbase, and every so-called NFL expert who swore this day would never come. Brilliant strategy or beautiful madness? Doesn't matter. Grab your popcorn, because Shedeur's about to set the league on fire, while the haters scramble to type out their apology tweets.
That's right, a league source has confirmed to News 5's Cameron Justice that rookie QB Shedeur Sanders will start on Friday against the Panthers, and he is expected to have significant playing time. This news comes as Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel both nursed hamstring injuries. Sanders himself has faced ailments this camp. He did not participate in team drill Saturday. He was held out with arm soreness, but was a full go at yesterday's practice in Berea. Sanders hasn't taken any reps with the first team offense this camp, and it's not expected he will Friday either. But one thing is for sure, we're looking ahead to a large sample size of how Sanders has developed since leaving Colorado and coming to Cleveland.
Cleveland just dropped an NFL plot twist so outrageous it makes daytime soap operas look understated. The Browns, yes, the very same Browns who once convinced themselves Johnny Manziel was a franchise savior, have officially named Shedeur Sanders their starting quarterback. Week 1. Against the Carolina Panthers. And no, this isn't a glitch in Madden or a Twitter rumor gone wild, this is reality. Someone should probably check on Deshaun Watson. Then again, maybe skip it. Just send him an Uber gift card and a self-help classic titled How to Handle Sudden Irrelevance and let the man process in peace.
The defense does a great job of mixing players in. So backers, you got rookies out there sometimes. DBs, you got different guys out there. So it's not mentally I go out there and I'm like, oh, you know, these are the ones I'm going to get nervous. Like, it don't got anything to do with that. And truthfully, I don't care what O-line I go out there with. It could be 1s, 2s, 3s, whatever the situation is. And I know Friday when the game is, if I'm with 2s or I'm with 3s, it don't matter to me. I'm just ready to get down and get to, you know, doing what I can do.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. Let's rewind, because, spoiler, it wasn't supposed to play out like this. Shedeur Sanders' rookie script had him holding a clipboard, clapping politely from the sidelines, and maybe tossing a few garbage time passes when the Browns were either cruising by 30 or drowning by 50. That fantasy lasted about as long as a Cleveland fourth-quarter lead. Instead, he showed up to training camp like it was his personal runway, zipping passes with the precision of someone who'd kidnapped Aaron Rodgers' throwing arm, and dissecting defenses like he'd been secretly added to their group chats. In a matter of weeks, the developmental project became the guy nobody in Cleveland could afford to keep off the field.
Sanders is on the practice field right now, getting ready to scrimmage the Carolina Panthers right now in practice today. He's out there going and putting that work in with the #1 offense. Remember, we were complaining, we were concerned why Cleveland Brown wasn't giving Shedeur those #1 reps with the #1 offense. That was our big concern going into this practice coming up today.
Remember, this kid rolled out of Colorado with more hype than a Kardashian baby reveal. Under Coach Prime, he racked up more camera time than most backup quarterbacks get in an entire career. And the critics? Oh, they had their script ready, system QB. Social media creation. Daddy's boy. Well, Daddy's boy just walked into Cleveland and became the daddy of the entire quarterback room, flipping the Browns' depth chart like it was a table at a family reunion.
Yes, Shedeur is starting against Carolina, okay? I know half of you are happy, half of you are not happy. I'm thrilled. I want to see this kid. Man, this could be the most watched preseason game in Cleveland Browns history. All I ask is that the kid gets a chance. This is a real chance. Now, I don't know who he's going to be playing against, and he hasn't had a lot of reps, but I'm expecting him to light it up. I am. I think this kid can play, and I'm excited for you, Shedeur. Boy, the sports gods work in mysterious ways.
Let's roll back the tape a bit. College Shedeur was that guy. Poised, accurate, mobile when necessary, and so calm under pressure it looked like he was playing chess while everyone else was playing Red Rover. Week after week, he broke records like they were made of wet tissue. Colorado could be getting mauled by 30 and he'd still drop dimes like he was handing out candy. And somehow, that translated to NFL camp without missing a beat. Most rookie QBs show up looking confused, overwhelmed, and about 3 wrong reads away from therapy. Shedeur? He walked in like he had the cheat codes. Preseason? He made defenders look like they were still buffering. No panic. No flinch. Just a clinical, almost surgical dissection of every play. This wasn't just promise. It was execution with receipts. So why did the Browns make this move now? Let's not sugarcoat it, Deshaun Watson was not exactly giving MVP energy. Between the rust, the injuries, and the haunted energy he brings to every press conference, the Browns were clearly having an internal crisis. One more wobble and they were gonna slap a band-aid on the offense and hope for divine intervention.
Now, I was always the person who said Shedeur needs to prove himself because he didn't play against no Power 5 teams last year. However, Shedeur gets a pass, in my opinion, because of his mindset. It's in his genes. He's a hard worker. He's a student of the game. He gonna put the work in even off the field. So I love this. Because of that attitude that he got, because of that work ethic that he got, when he get his shot, he gonna create some pressure. Because people gonna start to see what he can do in the NFL, and that's gonna put a lot of pressure on the organization to put his ass in that starting position. So I'm excited for the boy. Because he gonna get a chance to see what the speed is like at the NFL level.
But then along comes Shedeur, not asking for permission, not waiting his turn, just taking it. Teammates gravitated toward him. Coaches leaned in. Suddenly, the huddle had rhythm, the throws had touch, and the playbook started looking less like an ancient riddle and more like a playlist of bangers. Now, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. Oh yes, the sacrificial lambs. Because if you're going to unleash Shedeur Sanders, this might be the most poetic opponent imaginable. The Panthers, bless their hearts, are trying to find their identity. Unfortunately, their secondary has the cohesion of a group project gone horribly wrong. Third down defense? Trash. Red zone defense? Charitable. Quarterback pressure? Might as well send hugs instead of blitzes. If you were building a confidence-boosting launchpad for a rookie QB debut, this would be it. Short throws? Available. Deep shots? Plentiful. Scramble lanes? Basically walking paths. Shedeur's probably already doing visualization exercises where he throws 4 touchdowns before halftime and starts debating which cleats to wear for the post-game presser. But the biggest story here might not even be the matchup, it's the vibes. Browns fans have not been this hyped since Baker Mayfield looked promising for 10 minutes in 2018.
Some guys are just gamers. It doesn't really matter who they're playing with, who they're playing against, whether they're with the first stringers, whether they're with the third stringers, whether they're throwing to equipment managers. They are of the caliber of player that raises the bar of everyone else around them. And we'll find out, not definitively, not conclusively, but to a certain extent if Shedeur has that kind of makeup, where it doesn't really matter if he's playing with the 2s and 3s against Carolina's 1s, or if he's playing with the 3s and 4s against Carolina's 2s. If he is able to, and once again, it's just one opportunity, he's going to get more down the road, but this is a chance for him to come out and show, hey, I'm a baller.
The city is buzzing. Shirts are being printed. TikToks are being edited. Even Cleveland sports radio has stopped crying into their microphones long enough to utter the phrase playoff potential. Social media is eating this up. Twitter is a full-blown war zone. Half the people are yelling that Shedeur is the second coming, and the other half are still trying to figure out how to spell his name without autocorrect fighting them. Instagram has already crowned him QB1 with drip, and TikTok is looping his training camp highlights over Lil Wayne tracks like it's the Super Bowl. And oh boy, the analysts. The same ones who said he wasn't ready. Suddenly becoming fluent in Shedeur speak. You'd think they were early investors the way they're jumping on the hype train now. It's like watching a bunch of exes show up after you win the lottery. Awkward, hilarious, and entirely predictable. But make no mistake, this isn't just a PR stunt. This is strategy. The Browns don't make big moves unless they absolutely have to. Okay, fine, they sometimes make big moves just to see what happens, but this time, it actually makes sense. Deshaun Watson wasn't cutting it. The locker room needed a spark. The fan base needed CPR. And Shedeur was standing there with paddles in both hands.
On the game itself, we got game Friday night coming up. We'll rest some starters, some players will play. Obviously holding out some guys due to injury, as you know, and then we'll play Shedeur at quarterback. We just signed Snoop Huntley, as you guys saw. We'll get Snoop back up to speed quickly. He's been in a couple different offenses since we last saw him, so he's doing a great job of working at it. But it's a great opportunity for all of our young players in that football game.
The real question now is, what happens next? Because if Shedeur goes out there and tears apart Carolina's defense like it's a Pop Warner squad, the Browns are going to have the spiciest quarterback controversy in the league. And not the usual petty soap opera kind. We're talking legacy-altering, headline-dominating, franchise-splitting kind of drama. What happens if Shedeur wins not just one game, but two? What if he starts stringing together highlight reels that make the NFL's official YouTube channel look like a fan edit? What if he becomes the face of Cleveland football before October? Then what? The Browns front office might pretend they have a plan, but you can bet there's a war room full of whiteboards right now with just the words Watson trade scribbled in panic caps. Because if the young gun wins and wins decisively, there's no going back. You don't bench the guy bringing hope just because your old investment still has a warranty. And Shedeur doesn't play like a guy who's planning to warm the bench again. He's sharp, efficient, and throws with that weird mix of confidence and spite. Like every completion is also an argument. Every touchdown is a quote tweet to the doubters. Every win is a subtle middle finger with perfect spiral mechanics.
I know Shedeur Sanders this week actually talked about, I should say his dad, Deion Sanders, talked about how Shedeur told him not to come to practice because he's not where he wants to be right now, and he might only get a few reps of practice. And so those preseason games are going to be his best chance to audition for the Browns job and the NFL, because he's just not getting the reps of practice right now that I believe he honestly deserves. I think he deserves a shot with the ones.
Meanwhile, Deshaun might need to update his LinkedIn. Because if Shedeur owns this opportunity, the Watson era in Cleveland could be remembered as a very expensive intermission. Even Coach Prime is probably sipping a protein shake somewhere, smirking like a man whose master plan just hit phase 2. Because make no mistake, this is also a win for the Prime brand. Shedeur shining in the NFL isn't just validation, it's a neon billboard that reads, "Believe the hype." And the haters? Oh, the haters are scrambling. One minute they were tweeting that he'd get swallowed in the NFL. Next minute, they're rewatching his footwork on slow-mo like it's game film. Some of them even slid into the apology pipeline, disguised as cautious praise. You know the type, I always said he had potential. Sure you did, buddy. Right after comparing him to a YouTube influencer. Let's be real, if Shedeur goes off against Carolina, people are going to lose their minds. Browns fans will declare it a spiritual awakening. SportsCenter will loop his touchdown passes until you forget what a defensive stop looks like. And the NFL? The NFL will suddenly start adjusting schedules to give Cleveland more primetime slots, because apparently miracles are good for ratings.
I don't think people understand what will happen if Shedeur Sanders balls out this preseason. The Browns just named Shedeur the starting quarterback this Friday against the Carolina Panthers because Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel are both injured. The Browns recently dropped their depth chart and Shedeur is QB4. Through 9 practices, Shedeur has statistically been the best. You know, we've got 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Has Shedeur been going against the number 2s and 3s most of the time and not really the 1s? Yes, but he's still showing that he can compete at this level.
And yeah, the media frenzy is only just warming up. You can practically hear the segments being planned. Was Shedeur always him? The rise of Sanders, from Boulder to the big leagues. Should Deshaun just take up knitting? Meanwhile, fantasy football managers are panicking, adjusting lineups, and arguing with their group chats. Twitter spaces are popping off. Reddit is running full diagnostics on his passer rating. TikTokers are syncing his throws to Drake songs like it's an Oscars montage. But beyond the memes and the madness, there's something even crazier. This might actually work. Shedeur might actually be that dude. The guy who wasn't supposed to be ready, who didn't follow the traditional script, might be the one who finally cracks the Cleveland code. And that's terrifying. Not just for the Panthers, but for the entire AFC North. Because if Shedeur balls out, and the Browns suddenly get their act together, the division just got flipped. Lamar, Burrow, and Pickett better start budgeting for therapy, because this Cinderella story might just have teeth. So now that Shedeur Sanders has been handed the keys to the Cleveland Browns offense, let's talk about the real chaos bubbling under the surface. Quarterback controversy incoming? Oh, absolutely. This isn't just a one-game thing like forgetting your ex for exactly 12 hours on Valentine's Day.
Shedeur Sanders is getting his first start Friday night on the road versus the Carolina Panthers, with Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel both nursing the hamstring injury. Now, we know they just recently signed Tyler Huntley back onto the roster, so obviously we're probably going to see him the second half of the game, I would imagine. But are we going to see 2 quarters of Shedeur Sanders? Are we going to see 3 quarters of Shedeur Sanders? That's what I want to know. We magically only see 1 quarter of Shedeur Sanders just because of the shoulder soreness that was reported a couple days ago. Whatever it is, this is a great opportunity for 12. Panthers are playing some of their starters.
If Shedeur walks into that Panthers game, slings 3 touchdowns, and walks out with a dub, you better believe Cleveland media will be holding Deshaun Watson updates like museum artifacts, interesting, historical, and completely irrelevant. And just imagine if Shedeur wins again, and again. What do the Browns even do at that point? Bench the hot hand to protect their $230 million investment? Nah. NFL locker rooms don't run on contracts, they run on momentum. And right now, Shedeur is basically a human freight train loaded with confidence, charisma, and receipts. Which brings us to the elephant in the salary cap room, trade rumors for Watson. Oh, they're already brewing quietly in Reddit threads and burner accounts. If Shedeur keeps stacking WS, Watson's veteran leadership could slowly morph into trade bait with a massage history. Sorry, was that harsh? The league isn't. And here's the twist, the Browns, yes, the Browns, might finally stumble into something they've never had before, a sustainable QB plan. Not just a stopgap. Not just a desperate free agent grab. We're talking about a 22-year-old with elite instincts, a football pedigree, and that I've been waiting my entire life for this energy. You don't let that rot on the bench because of a spreadsheet.
Shedeur Sanders is expected to be the starter for Friday night's preseason opener against the Carolina Panthers. And in this article, Mary Kay Cabot goes on to say Shedeur Sanders is expected to get first-team reps in the joint practices against the Panthers. So if there's ever a time for Shedeur Sanders to take advantage of an opportunity, it's now. And I say this all the time, you're never rooting for players to get injured as a fellow player. But if they do, a lot of times that tends to be the opportunities you have to take advantage of. I always say, look back to Baker Mayfield. Tyrod Taylor gets injured against the Jets.
Make no mistake, this isn't just a moment, it's a movement. The prime effect didn't clock out at Colorado. It just bought an NFL ticket. What Deion built in Boulder wasn't just hype, it was infrastructure. Leadership, poise, media savvy. Shedeur soaked all of that in like a sponge with a 4K camera pointed at him 24/7. He's not just playing football. He's narrating a legacy, and Cleveland might be lucky enough to host the pilot episode. And oh, let's check in with the haters, shall we? Critics who said he wasn't NFL ready are now so quiet you can hear them trying to rewrite their preseason takes in invisible ink. The media hype crowd? Suddenly analyzing his third down efficiency like they've been believers since Jackson State. Every throw is a rebuttal. Every touchdown is a TED Talk. Every post-game press conference? An episode of How You Like Me Now. If he torches the Panthers, we're entering a long, painful fall for the doubters. Cold weather, colder takes. They're going to need more than hot cocoa to get through the season. So what's next? Can Shedeur hold this spot long term? Is this the dawn of a new Browns era, or just the most exciting plot twist before another heartbreak? Who knows? But right now, the lights are on, the crowd is watching, and Shedeur's under center with the swagger of a guy who knows the script was written for him.